WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. I'm going to compare the Glenmorangie 18 to the Glenmorangie 19. So I did a video about the 18-year-old, and a lot of people wrote and told me, Jason, you have no idea what is a good Glenmorangie. It's a 19, it's not the 18-year-old. So very, very first important thing, the 18-year-old packaging is taller. Ooh, is that important? No, but I just wanted to mention it. It's also wider, so they put a little bit more of a value on the 18-year-old. 43%. Over here in Europe, I'm paying about 90 euros. And we have the Glenmorangie 19-year-old. This is bourbon and sherry. This is pure 100% bourbon matured whiskey. So I bought the bottle. I did a bottle share. We have the aromas here that I'm going to read in a little bit. And the Finest Reserve here we have extremely rare with the 18-year-old. 120 euros versus 90 euros. So 30 euros more, almost a third or more than a third more. I'm not really sure if that is actually worth it. Dr. Bill Lumden just recently received his basically present, and that was a new distillery at Glenmorangie, the Lighthouse Distillery. So it's basically built on the property Glenmorangie. There's one spirit still, one wash still, tall giraffe necks, just like everything else, with all these bells and whistles, and it's going to be a lot of fun for him to try different things, including rye whiskeys made in Scotland. So he's really looking forward to that. My private intel said that he basically threatened Louis Vuitton, Monet Henness, that's one company that owns Ardbeg and Glenmorangie. Either you build me a place where a playground, or I'm going to leave and go someplace else to a new distillery and have my playground there. And so they decided to build him a playground. Yay! I don't know if the story is 100% true, but I believe it. Sorry. Whiskey base number 100419, Finest Reserve, is my bottle from 2017. Have they put any laser code on here? I can't find any. The very first thing I realized in the back, this says with Zuckercouleur, with coloring. This does not. Ooh. Both of these are 43%, and both of these are 0.7 milliliter bottles. So these are things you often can find if you're willing to put a little bit more money on the table and take a look at them. So let's take a look at the color. So to be very honest, very, very similar in color, even though the 18-year-old looks a little bit darker, probably due to the added coloring. On the nose, the 19-year-old, I like. Now, it's very, very delicate. It's very understated and very soft. This is not an in-your-face type of smacking you around and showing you where to go. This is very, very, very quiet. I get some vanillas, malt, and a tiny little bit of lime sherbet. Now, I've had a few older whiskeys in my days. I think of Tomaten Decades 2. I think of some other 26-year-old Irish whiskeys from Bushmills that I've had and so on, and they often have a little bit of that lime sherbet moment towards the end. I don't know what type of estus that would be, what type of fatty acids that cause that, but I loved it. And often with 21-year or 20-year-old plus whiskeys, you kind of start getting those beautiful, beautiful moments there. I compared it to, I sit down in my car and I have normal seats, so normal cloth seats. I sit down, I think, okay, that's nice, no problem, good. And then I sit down in a fairly high-class car with leather seats and go, oh, that's nice. And I say, oh yeah, you're willing to pay 4,000 euros extra for that? And it's like, well, my car basically costs 4,000 in total. I'm not willing to pay that extra for the seats. And this is a little bit of the question when we drink whiskey. What are we willing to pay for? The higher up you go, the more nuances you get, the more expensive it's going to be. And the question is this really worth at least 120 euros for me? Probably a little bit more for you wherever you are, all right? So I've seen prices going up over in Germany here for over 160 euros. I see it in America for $250. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Crazy times here we have. All right, the 18-year-old with the sherry and with the bourbon. Yeah. The sherry has a little bit more of a red fruit moment. This has a little bit more of a spice, but they're both very quiet whiskeys, very sublime, very, very, very quiet. Yeah, I said the word quiet twice. All right, good. Let's try. 43%, 43% with color, with probably without color. 19, 18 years of age, 90 euros, 130 euros. Or 100, yeah, I'd say 130. Cheers. Mm-hmm. A little bit of mint, a little bit of a hazelnut moment, peach, toffee, orange, citrus, oak, vanilla, and a tiny little bit of lime sherbet, as I mentioned. Is this a good whiskey? Yes. Is this a great whiskey? No. Is this a B to a B minus whiskey? Absolutely. Value for money? C to a C minus. I would not be willing to pay 120 euros for this again, or 130 euros. That's just way too much money. Now, when I do my value for money, I absolutely blend out the number of the years this has been in the barrel. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter how old that whiskey is. What matters is the taste. Taste divided by price equals value for money. I do comment on how many euros you have to pay per year. Often, 120 euro bottle, 6 years old. Ooh, 200. I'm sorry, 20 euros per year. Way too expensive. This is much less than 10. We're going about 750, 8 euros per year. Interesting combination. Is it overpriced? For the specs, no. For the taste, maybe. Is that a 120 euro taste? No. Is that a 60 to 80 euro taste? Maybe. All right. So, Cadenheads. Go to Cadenheads, buy one of their small batch releases, usually 2 or 3 bourbon hogsheads mixed together. You can get some older stuff there, Glenmorangie, for example, and you're going to pay a third less for that, and it's going to be, if not better, actually equal or even better. Now, the question is, can you find something like that? Exactly. Probably not. Can I find something like that? Well, I have a Cadenhead shop within an hour drive of where I live. They're online. I could go buy that. This I can buy online anytime I wanted to. The 18-year-old I can find online as well. They ship in Germany, no problem. The question is, what is your availability here? WhiskyJason, rare and exotic whiskeys, right? Availability and price is always the issue here. Let's go over the 18-year-old just to compare real quick. Slancha. The 18-year-old has a lot more of a red fruit and a tiny, tiny little bit of sulfur in there. And towards the end, I get a little bit more of that sulfur wood tannin moment. Is the 19 better? Definitely. Is it worth 30 euros more? I don't think so. Probably I'm going to watch this video in 5 years from now and go, what was I thinking? 120 euros for a 19-year-old bottle with this taste, that's a fantastic price. They cost 250 today. So let's see where the prices go up. If I look at the inflation rate of whiskey, we're talking about 10% per year. So in 5 years from now, this whiskey should be over 200 euros. I hope not. But it would not surprise me. It would not surprise me at all. Yeah, it's a B. And I think I'm just lagging behind with the pricing at the moment. I've had other 19-year-old whiskeys over 200 euros. And so I must admit for 120, 130 euro, this is not overly priced. But it's just not wowing me. It's not wooing me. It's not drawing me in. It's not seducing me. And so, oh, you have to have another sip. This is so good. This is delicious. It's a good, well-made whiskey. Bam. But it's not a mind-blowing experience that I have to tell everyone about. And that's what I expect for something that's... Ask me about Redbreast 21. I'm going to talk to you until you buy or try it yourself. I'm so excited about that whiskey. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof asked me about it. I'm going to just, and so on and so on. There's a few bottles out there that I am just so excited about. And this just happens to be an okay, fairly good whiskey. That's nothing for me to get excited about. By the way, don't put water in it. It turns a little bitter. 43% is the minimum that it should have there. All right, so I'm going to give this a solid B. I'm going to give this a solid C to C minus for value for money. Yes, it's a C, I know, but I'm just not used to saying go spend 120 euros or $180 or whatever for a whiskey. It's not really something to write home about. Sorry, Bill Lumpson. I like some of your products, but this one just didn't woo me in. Thank you very much for liking, subscribing, telling others. Yes, it's a good whiskey, but see what you can get the price for, all right? Be careful. Don't pay too much for this. Thank you very much for liking, subscribing, sharing this video with others. You notice my dilemma here of enjoying the whiskey, but it's not something I'm going to reach for. Every time so this is maybe the most important part of the video. Okay, I'm at home in the evening. I'm going to pour myself a dram. Which one am I going to choose? Oh, look, I have the Glenmorangie 19. Oh, that was okay, but it was 120 euros. I'm going to go for something else. That's my problem here. It's not worth the money ratio to the taste. I guess that's the easiest way to put it. Thank you. Like, subscribe, tell others. Bye-bye.